Okay, so Epic Games, the creators of Fortnite, have been launching their own games selling platforms. So rather than just selling their own games, they've decided to try and compete directly with Steam based on their own success through Fortnite, with all of the money that they've made from that. So there's been an announcement that they've landed a record 5.7 billion in the year, and they're going to be putting that into gaming investments. So that's to try and make their own sort of platform to try and compete with Steam. Now, a lot of people have been going, oh, this is fantastic, there's going to be more competition and, prices will be lower, and heralding how fantastic this will be for consumers. But I've had a dubious mind on it for the entire time and thought, well, no, actually it's not necessarily going to be good for the consumers, but, I'll go into a few different things on these aspects over the course of this video. So, firstly, I've got to mention that they are taking, rather than Valve who take 30%, they're only going to be taking, says that the developers get 88% versus the 70%, so what's that, 22%? No, 12%. So they're only taking a 12% cut for themselves, whereas Valve will take a far significant cut, but they're obviously a more developed platform and have been going at it for some time, and a lot of people have their libraries on Steam, so they want to be able to purchase the most of their games, have them on one platform rather than just having multiple things all over the site. Now, there have been some developments with Steam over the years that have gone and caused some sort of controversy in some sorts. So there used to be a lot more curated content and, focused games, so you just get the really, really good games. Now, there used to be another platform that existed called Desura, and Desura went out of business because they just let anything on their platform whatsoever, and they ended up with a lot of the shovelware and copy and virusy sort of stuff that seems to be going down a lot on Steam and generating a lot of controversy. For example, there have been games that have been noted to actually be Bitcoin miners and have Bitcoin miners inside the software, so you download the game and it would actually use your computer to mine for bitcoins and just be a fairly generic game that just really, really runs your thing. And there's a lot of this shovelware, which is essentially buying the software to create games very easily and just using assets, and it's also called asset flips in some cases. So they just shove a lot of assets and stuff out there and just make the most basic of games to try and shovel in the money for no real efforts. And they'll put it very cheap, they'll offer the codes out to a lot of people so they get money from the Steam trading cards, which I will add that Steam actually added to try and mitigate the cost of all of these games that they're allowing on their platforms. So they started off by having a $100 fee and a Steam greenlight process, but obviously the greenlight process was pretty slow, and once you got one game greenlit, and a lot of developers gave out keys to try and get through the greenlight process, so it all came irrelevant anyway, because they'd give all these keys so that people would want to greenlight them, through cheap bundle sites and all this stuff, and it's like, greenlight this, and then you'd get your key and you'd get your game, and then the games are promised to have trading cards, and obviously the trading cards makes the money for the devs, but also Steam does get a cut, so that mitigates a lot of the costs of allowing some of these things on their platform. But obviously a lot of people have been down on Steam for allowing pretty much anything onto their platform these days, but a lot of it on the other side is developers complain if they're not allowed on Steam, because Steam's the primary selling platform. Now, going on to the Epic Games launcher. So, they've launched with a few exclusives, and, it's... some of them are pretty good games, like Ashen and the Super Meat Boy sequel. So, you can't begrudge them for having exclusives that were never on Steam. But it turns out that actually it's not all fantastic competition that will make more choice and more variety for saving money for customers, because actually the prices are just about the same, because the developers set their own prices anyway, so they set the prices that they want, and they what are they going to do? They're going to go, we can sell it cheaper and have it exclusive to this platform and make less money, or we can just get more profits, and the customers are already happy to pay this price anyway. So No, it's not. It's not good for the customers. There's not extra choice because actually, Metro Exodus is one, and also The Walking Dead, the final series, is another that I'll mention. But Metro Exodus was already on sale on Steam, pre-order, and then Epic, using their 5.7 billion gaming investments, have paid off an undisclosed amount to Metro Exodus for exclusivity on their platform. So it's been taken off of Steam. So that's not customer variety. That's not, choose what's cheaper for you, and that's not what's good for the customer. And they're just going to be selling it exclusively on there, and probably at the same price. I haven't looked up what price it was and what price it is to compare, but I'm sure you can do your own comparisons. But if it was truly about adding more options and, being good for the end user and end customer, it would actually still be on sale on Steam for those who want to buy it on Steam, because there might be people who would be happy to pay a premium to have it on Steam with the rest of their gaming library. If you've got most of your gaming library in one place, it's good to not have a million installers and just have it all in one place. So it just seems a bit, I don't know, and a bit off to me that's what's going on here, And I can understand that might annoy a lot of Metro players as well, because it's just not really on if they've already purchased it on Steam, and they're promising that it will have all of the future updates and everything. But can you really guarantee that if they're mostly going to be focused on Epic? I feel like all the updates and everything are going to be pushed on there, and that's probably going to alienate a lot of customers. And, as Steam is the major selling platform at the moment for PC games, it just feels like you're kind of throwing away a huge market. And, there are a lot of people that would be loyal to Steam, because I'm pretty loyal to Steam, and no, I'm not really going to go to Epic for something like this, especially when it seems so underhand and sneaky like this. Now, The Walking Dead, obviously, Telltale Games went bankrupt, and they hadn't quite finished the final season, so, the final season was out on Steam, and again, that's been removed completely from Steam and gone over to Epic, and you have to wonder, how much did they pay them? Did they salvage the end of the last season by funding it, or what? It just feels a little dodgy that games are disappearing off Steam and heading over to the Epic launcher, and they're being paid off by this 5.7 billion gaming investment that's out there for essentially paying developers to not go on Steam, to just go to their marketplace. And I don't know how I feel about that. I don't feel that that's really good for the end user customer. Good for the end user customer would be if Epic existed and they were allowed on Steam, so you could have both for sale and there's customer choice. But Epic clearly aren't going down that route. They're clearly going for sneaky, underhand, in my opinion, tactics of trying to pilfer every indie developer, every good game, and take it over to their platform, and trying to really sabotage Steam and try and send it under the bus and trying to kill it off. And I really don't feel happy about that. I really support Steam, and I would actively not go and play any Epic games whatsoever if that's how they're going to behave. If they're trying to completely send Steam under the bus, no, here's where the line stands. And I brought up Desura. Desura did go out of business. Desura died. Desura gone. And I don't want Steam to do that. I do not want Steam to vanish the way of Desura. And Epic Games are giving away some free games. I mean, a lot of free games to try and encourage people to go over to their platform. But I don't feel happy about that. I really do not feel happy with the way that Epic are behaving here. They're trying to use all their success from Fortnite to scupper Steam, and that's really not what I would consider a good trading protocol. That's going to alienate a lot of your customers. Like, I feel strongly about Steam. I'm going to defend Steam. I am not going to go over to Epic Games if they're going to do this. You know, if they want their own independent games that they're happy to buy a few of, but if they're going to literally pay developers to go, no, you're not allowed on Steam at all, and you know, a big AAA title like Metro just suddenly vanishing, I mean, it's doing a literal exodus off Steam and heading to Epic. Oof, I just don't feel that that's the way that a company should be behaving at all, and no, I feel very strongly about that. That's where the line draws. The line is now in the sand, and I expect Steam to be doing big things about it. They are a big company, but they can go over, and this sort of thing can really screw over a company. So I would expect maybe they're going to be under the table offering a lot of developers better deals to prevent Epic doing this nonsense and let Epic spend all their money and waste all their money. But I do imagine that a lot of bigger developers are going to be getting better deals. So, you know, better than the 30% cut. Maybe even better than 12%. Who knows? They do get a cut back from the trading cards on Steam. So, there are 3 sections to the money that gets spent on trading cards. 1, so there's a percentage, I think it's 5%. 5% goes to Steam, 5% goes to the game developer, the rest goes to whoever sold the trading card. But when the trading cards are 3 pence, 1 pence goes to Steam, 1 pence goes to the game developer, 1 pence goes to the seller. So that's 33%. And if they have a lot of trading cards, then obviously that becomes a lot of money. Hence the shovelware with a lot of trading cards in it, because they shovel them out, they give out the codes for free, and they just make a lot of money from the trading cards. Steam also makes the money from the trading cards, so, you know, they're not exactly anti that behaviour. But, yeah, I just feel like things are going to be happening that Steam are going to be drawing a line in the sand and saying no more, because that's just really dodgy, and so close to release with so many people having pre-ordered it on Steam. That just feels really stinky behaviour to do that, you know, to take your unreleased game that a lot of people have purchased off of Steam and put it onto another platform just because they've paid you a significant amount of money, and you know, you get a better deal, and you're not passing it on to the end users, you are pocketing it yourself. So all this talk of, oh, it's fantastic, prices will come down for everyone, is bollocks. It really is. So don't listen to the bollocks, don't listen to the hype. Have a brain, have some common sense, think it out for yourself. The developers will just make more money for themselves. They're not making things cheaper. Steam aren't setting the prices when they're making them expensive and all that. The developers set their own prices. They choose their own prices. They're the prices that they are. And, you know, you can shop around and get better prices. And Steam, as with Uplay have their own launcher. Rainbow Six and the Assassin's Creed series and all that. But they're also available on Steam. They're doing it well. They do it the proper way. That's competition. You know, you've got a choice. Do you want to buy it on Steam so you've got it in your own library, you know, all in one place? Or you can also buy it on Uplay where you might get a better deal. And it's also directly from the developers, so they're likely to put a better deal on there. Epic are just being like, fuck you, Steam. No, it's not going on Steam. We're paying you to not let it go on Steam and trying to run Steam out of business. So it's not good for the customer. It's not good for the end user. If anything, that's really anti-competition. That's so dodgy. That's so bad. That's so immoral. It's not good. So I would not recommend it. And as a result, I'm probably going to completely boycott Epic entirely. Like, there are some really good games like Ashen that I would be interested in, but it's on the Epic launcher, and I'm sorry, Ashen, you know, you do have an interesting looking game, but because of the underhand tactics that Epic are using, trying to run the same out of business, I'm really sorry, but that's just the way it is. You don't get shown or played or reviewed, because no, it's on Epic. I'm so sorry. Yeah, but think for yourself, make your own minds up on this, but I really think that this is really dodgy, and I expect Steam to retaliate in some form that will run Epic under their own battle bus, so to speak. Anyway, thanks for watching. Join us again tomorrow. Goodbye.